Hi, I'm James Shillinglaw. We're at the end of the ASTA Global Convention here in San Francisco. I'm here with Mark Casto, who is the chairman of ASTA and also the president, Leisure Americas for Flight Center. And we're going to talk about this event and also some of the big news that just came out of the convention. And we're going to hear all about that and more on Insider Travel Report. Mark, first of all, great to see you here. Always great to see you here at this convention. A lot of news here from this convention. And I guess the first thing is you announced a few things that were pretty cool. You have a new credo for ASTA. Talk a little bit about that and what it means.
So this is something that we worked with our travel advisors, with our community, with our board to really just put down the principles of who we are and what we stand for. Right. A travel advisor is not just someone who sells travel. There's much more to it as who we are. Obviously we have a code of ethics. We're still holding to that, but it's more than just that. And one of the critical components associated with this is really justifying and demonstrating that we are professionals, and that means charging professional fees for the service.
That was the big thing I came out of it. One of the planks is that you travel professionals charge professional fees, right?
Yes, yeah. We long have migrated from the term that we're travel agents and we're travel advisors, and advisors are the ones who advocate on behalf of their travelers, who are able to identify what it is that they actually are dreaming of to bring that into reality. And that is a professional service. It's just as important as any of the other ones out there. So we really want to make this as an industry standard. Now, we're not saying what to charge, when to charge, how much to charge, none of that, but just that we want to be fully recognized for the professional values that we provide.
Yeah, that was really a useful credo to go forward with this profession. And of course, the other thing is you're going to be revising your website for ASTA, which first revision in a number of years. And what's the goal for that?
Well, it is a bit overdue for the revision to our website. If you think of the website as the billboard of your brand, we needed to update it to bring it a little bit more towards modern times. So it is coming out. It's going to be beautiful. It's much easier to work with. It's a lot easier for members to be able to find the information they need, but also for prospects to understand who it is we are, how we operate, and what we're trying to achieve together as a whole.
Yeah. Now, then, of course, we did talk a little bit about some of your legislative and regulatory successes, and you had a number of them during COVID. And in fact, we thought we'd solved them all. In fact, at legislative today, they solved the inbound testing rule, which was going to be something we'd all go up to the Hill and lobby for. But of course, things never stop. So you had, just a few weeks ago, the DOT come out with a proposed regulation that potentially could have made travel advisors liable for airline refunds. But now things are looking a little more hopeful on that one, right?
It's looking more hopeful, but it's clear that the curveballs keep coming by the pitcher on the mound on this one here. Now, the primary thing that we are identifying is it appears that the DOT is only going to require the refund rule for ticket agents to apply in the event that the agent is the merchant of record. And I'm using that term, agent, specifically because what the DOT calls us for it. Now, we're still having those active conversations for it. Zane and Eben were in conversation with the DOT this Monday at length to review each of the different principles for it. It's going to take some time. This is critical legislation, this critical rulemaking that will absolutely impact our industry. And so it's one of the reasons why we have advocacy organizations like ASTA to represent the needs of all of us.
So you always need, to be out there in front of government and doing this. And I mean, the big thing there is if you don't have the money and you're not keeping it, how are you going to give it back, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if we are the ones who book the travel and we own the product, well, that's one thing, but that's not the majority of the time. The vast majority of the time when someone is selling air, they're acting on behalf of another party, namely the airline who has the funds. The DOT right now is saying that, well, we need to refund it. We, the ticket agent, need to refund it, irrespective of the fact that we don't have the fund, we don't have any access to the fund. So asking a independent or any travel company to front load and provide all that cash to the traveler when they'd have none of it is it's baffling.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think people kind of jumped to conclusion you had to felt doing something with refunds, and obviously the big issue these days are delays and cancellations, and so I think the DOT felt they had to make some kind of statement.
We absolutely recognize that this summer has been challenging for travelers across the board, and the DOT certainly is trying to find a way to address the concerns that travelers have expressed. There's better ways to go about it doing this. I would maintain.
Well, and that's why we have ASTA, and that's why we need to support ASTA. And in fact, one of the great things about this event, the ASTA Global Convention, is you have your advocacy dinner, which has become a happening, I think. It keeps getting bigger. I think you had over 400 people there last night, and I was there. And you raise a lot of money. I think you raised somewhere near $370,000 for your advocacy fund last night, right?
The last number I heard was $376,000 for advocacy, all of it going to our PAC that's going to help promote our advocacy efforts for these type of issues that come up and what the next one will be. It might be something simple like hotel taxes. It could be a whole slew of other items. There's always some interest by the DOT and others to target the art trade. But it was a raucous, it was a fun, it was an exciting event.
Celebrated Arnold Donald, got a Lifetime Achieving Award. It really has become the event and one of the great reasons to come to the ASTA Global Convention.
I mean, we've all had many parties we go to, sometimes out of obligation. For me personally, this is the one I truly, truly enjoy. It's an emotional event, and it's just something that touches for what it is we were trying to achieve within this industry.
Now, for this event, we had a little bit of over 1,000 people. And now we have upcoming. We have one of the more successful events that ASTA has put on, the River Expo in Budapest, which is coming, and you're doing a repeat of that in March, and then you're actually going to Puerto Rico in May, which you're changing the date of the ASTA Global Convention, right?
Yes, we're moving the date to the Global Convention into May. This is a first for us. We wanted to put on the calendar when it was best suited for our advisors. We recognize that the timing of all the industry events that are taking place are always a challenge. We want to get the best participation and the easiest process for our advisors to be able to attend to. So we're going to be in Puerto Rico in May. The River Cruise Expo will be another incredible success, just like it was this year. And so they'll be taking place in Budapest. And obviously we're excited to see how that market is maturing too.
Fantastic. Well, Mark, anything else you want to say to our 107,000 travel advisors out there?
For those of you who were here, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. For those of you who weren't here, you got to come next time. Puerto Rico is where you need to be.
Absolutely. Well, great to see you, Mark. We'll see you hopefully in the River Cruise Expo and hopefully in Puerto Rico.
Absolutely. Look forward to it, James.
I'm James Shillinglaw, and this is Insider Travel Report.